What's up YouTube? Moffy D here. So we got here, like I said in my last video, I went ahead and I dragged out my '08 KX500AF rolling chassis frame. So here's the, like I was mentioning in the last video, so this frame is identical from what I can tell. You see there's just no cool lines going up and down. So I actually kind of like the '06 frame a little bit better. Although this one did come with this cool little bash plate on it, which is kind of neat. So yeah, so I went ahead and I snipped on that line like I was talking earlier, and I haven't drilled in this one yet. And like now that I think about it, like that is such a tight spot. I'm not even really sure how I'm gonna drill a hole in here, you know? And then I was thinking about it for like vibrational reduction, since there's these little wells, it'd be kind of weird to put like a, you know, a motor mount right here with these only touching the top part. So I was thinking about putting like rubber pads, and I was thinking about springs, and then I was thinking maybe like one spring, one rubber pad for like vibrational, you know, reduction. So we'll see. But yeah, drilling a hole there is gonna be kind of tough. So anyway, so here's our frame. Here's the '08 one. You can see it's very similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and we got our motor right. We're gonna go ahead and slap this bad boy in, our '96. And man, that boot sucks. I don't know how that boot got so gnarled. So yeah, we're gonna toss this in. All right, so we got the main bolt pulled out that holds the swing arm motor and swing arm together. So I don't even think this is a. I think it's from like an RMZ or a DRZ, because this is a round hole one. But anyway, that should fit perfect through here. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that bad boy in. Okay, we're almost there. I had to go ahead and take the swing arm off completely because yeah, I was kind of in the way. But yeah, you can see we're getting in there. Yeah, it's a tricky one. So apparently, even after cutting the top motor mount to that part I was talking about, which is theoretically enough, if you also cut out the front Y, I don't know if you have to cut that out yet, but I had cut it. But you have to also, it seems now, you have to also take these off. You have to pretty much, these motor mounts right here, this one and also this one. So it seems like you have to pretty much just go ahead and just delete all the motor mounts off of this thing if you're going to put a KX500 motor in it. So I was a little bummed at first, but I'm going to actually see it as an opportunity to do some kind of wacky engineering. So here's my thought behind this, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who will hate this because it's new. But, so there's a bash plate on the bottom. It's actually a skid plate, and it's held on by these two bolts right here, and I think actually, yeah, it looks like two more on the back. So there's 4 bolts that hold that too. So what I'm thinking about getting a bash plate. That's a skid plate. I want to get a bash plate, something that wraps around the side also. And what I'm thinking of doing, and this will be kind of weird, but I'm thinking of making some radical new different kinds of motor mounts. So basically, even on my CR500AF, that thing rattles like a monster. It's almost like the bike will literally slide sideways on a hill because it's vibrating so hard. So I'm going to mitigate some of that on that bike, but on this one, I think I know how I'm going to do it since I have an opportunity to start from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete these motor mounts, and instead of trying to figure out how to get a drill tap in here to drill a hole to put it, because even this feels pretty close when I was trying to line up the holes with the swing arm. It does go through, they all go through on their own, but it's just that the motor won't fit in the frame right now. So I'm going to completely delete this altogether. I'm just going to cut it at the welds, I'm going to take it off completely, and then I'm going to drill 2 holes in this, and this is a very solid cast aluminum. Like it's from here to here, it's thick. So drilling holes through this, I think, is going to be a very solid point. So we're going to countersink them, and we're going to get machine screws. So when we put the bolts through, the machine bolts through, they're going to sit flush with the top of this. And so we're going to have 2 studs sitting out on the bottom, and this part will be deleted. And from there, we're going to make kind of like it's going to be like a pivot point with rubber, maybe even a spring, and it's going to attach to this so that it holds it tight in place from side to side rocking, but it can kind of go up and down maybe a little bit on that spring and on those dampeners. And then on the bottom here, we're going to get that bash plate, and we're going to attach the bash plate very securely to the frame. We're going to delete these motor mounts, and we're going to put through holes through the bash plate, and we're going to make vibrating brackets like I was describing on the top motor mounts. We're gonna put like rubber pads between them, and then we're going to give them the ability to maybe like even float a little bit, possibly. We'll see. We'll have to figure out how we do that. But so I'm thinking, yeah. So, but it's not going to attach directly to the frame. It's going to attach directly to the bash plate that's bolted to the frame. And between the bash plate and the frame, I'm also going to put more layers of rubber gaskets and vibrational dampening. So that's the idea for that. We're going to do the same thing on the top. Actually, for the top one, for the front motor mount, excuse me, that's the top. This is the front, and that's the bottom. So the rear is going to be the only one that we're going to keep stock. We're going to keep that one, but that's the biggest one and honestly the most important. So we're going to attach, we're going to have to make, yeah, let me grab the Y. So here's the Y we removed from it. So it's, as you can see, and this is why I love Kawasaki. Like I have an 08 RMZ 250 frame, and I've cut that one to pieces, and it is nowhere near as thick as this one. This is an 08 KX500AF. They're both 4-strokes, but the Kawasaki is twice as thick the gauge, honestly. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reuse this Y. I think I'm gonna consider it. Yeah, we're gonna reuse this Y, but we'll have to completely delete these holes, or we just won't use them. We're going to cut this part off right here all the way around at the top of the seam basically, and then we're going to waller it like a big cup, so it'll be a socket, so it'll stick over the top part, so that'll give us plenty of clearance for the exhaust chamber to come through. And then yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, what I'm thinking for the front is we're gonna get like solid aluminum pegs that are probably about this long that can fit in the hole, go down pretty deep, and they also stick out. And when I use tubing, I'm going to stick the tube over the peg, and then when I weld it, it should weld pretty firmly. This piece should marry this piece to the aluminum peg to the donor piece of tube, and we'll do that up here too with these cups. I've already kind of cut these cups out, and if you weld nice and hot and nice and deep, and we're going to try to do this with our aluminum TIG welder. Yes, an aluminum TIG welder. We're going to try it without a spool gun. Worth mentioning. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and try that. But that's the plan for this. I'm gonna try not to be bummed that the bottom motor mount doesn't line up perfectly, because you know what, that was never going to happen anyway. So we're just going to cut it, and we're going to take this as an opportunity to just really try to just over-engineer the brackets to the point where we I want it to be the smoothest KX500AF bike there will be. So okay, until next time, this is, I'm gonna start counting these on this project too, so if you want to watch this build series also, I'm gonna start it here.